Hey guys, I want to play a thought experiment and ask a question that is, what would a Satoshi Nakamoto comeback look like? If Satoshi Nakamoto would come back, how would he behave? What would he say? And what would he try to achieve by coming back to Bitcoin? Now, from the thumbnail of my picture, you can already tell where this is going, but I'm asking you to not focus on personalities and don't picture someone as Satoshi before we are done with this thought experiment. So try to only focus on the shapes, not the colors. And I think this is a good way of putting aside the distracting elements from when researching something. And I think it helps me stay rational in situations like this. So how would Satoshi Nakamoto comeback look like? First of all, why would he come back? So the first thing would be his technology is not going where Satoshi wanted it to go. Its original design is not working out or is not appreciated. So that would be my main, the first reason. And the second would be to just to cash out, to maybe lay out some grounds for some legal grounds for selling the bitcoins, because otherwise they could not, because maybe the tax office would be like, hey, who are you? Why are you selling these coins that shouldn't be yours? And the third option would be just to brag, to have an ego trip. Hey, I'm the guy who invented this amazing new technology and the best performing asset in the last decade. So it would be either one of them, one of the reasons to come, one of the three things I said as a reason to come back, or two of them, or all three. But I would like to focus on number one, because the Bitcoin technology is not really going in the direction, at least the BTC chain it was not going in the direction that it was designed to go. A weird cult of small brokers took the BTC chain, the Bitcoin Core development team, and all the forums, and started to kicking out everybody who is remotely against their small block non-mining node nonsense. So Satoshi coming back to go after them makes a lot of sense, to try to establish his cryptocurrency, his Bitcoin would make a lot of sense. Given that he was the inventor of Bitcoin, he would dismiss any or most changes to the protocol. Doesn't mean necessarily that he would be absolutely right about everything, but he didn't spend one day developing Bitcoin, so he would have a strong feeling about it as a complete product. Because Satoshi also said in one of the forums that Bitcoin is already ready for use and adoption. And so what else would Satoshi say? He would own a lot of Bitcoin, and he would have been invested as the creator, of course, and as a miner, and in the early days, and as an owner, as an investor. So all he would care about would be Bitcoin. Satoshi would be very dismissive of every other cryptocurrency. He would be dismissive of every solution to the perceived problems of Bitcoin, because in his opinion, Bitcoin doesn't have problems. Bitcoin is the best. It has proven to be correct. It has grown the most. And so overall, he would defend his technology, and it would be very weird for Satoshi to come back and to be interested or accept, for example, Ethereum, EOS, or a Cardano, or anything other than what he had created. So because he predicted that Bitcoin is meant to be for Visa level transactions, and that there will be mining farms, and he also said that there is no reason for most people to run a node. Even for businesses, he said that some businesses will run a node if it makes sense for their business model. So he would be very much against the non-mining, the hobby node narrative of core. And so overall, I would expect Satoshi to have strong opinions about everything Bitcoin related, being certain that what he had created works and is the best, and what other people are doing is not so great or unnecessary. And so now, what would he do? What would his action be in establishing what he perceived to be his original Bitcoin? So first of all, uh, not even talking about the Satoshi coins, the first Bitcoins that have been mined, but he would probably have been a miner even after he disappeared from the forums. So from that perspective, he would have an endless amount of money to spend. He would have no shortage of bitcoins. And given that Bitcoin topped at 20K and now it's at 5,000, he would have no shortage of dollars either. It's the same thing if you have that much. If you're that of an early miner, so the resources would be nearly endless. And I think because he would understand that his original design was meant to be a Bitcoin that is based on nodes that are mining and not just being hobby nodes. So he would be heavily involved in mining, heavily involved in mining pools, mining operations, ASICs, building ASICs, and he would invest a lot of resources into that area. He would have no choice than to fork off any chain that is changing the protocol, the protocol that he perceived to be the original, the best Bitcoin, and that should be stable. He would try to unleash the power of Bitcoin. He would think that it has not grown as much as it could because it didn't follow his original protocol design. Now I think everybody understands where this is going. The Satoshi, not from this his temper, not from his behavior, but from the essential being that he should be when he comes back to Bitcoin. He should be very close to Craig Wright. A lot of the things that Craig Wright is doing is make sense if you're the designer, the creator of Bitcoin. He has a strong opinion in what Bitcoin should be, and it should be the original, the old uh, protocol. It should not be changed. People should only build on top of it and not change it anymore. And that makes a lot of sense to me. It makes sense to me that he is very dismissive of anything anybody else is doing because it's not what he is doing. And to be fair, everybody else is the same. So the guys behind EOS, they are dismissive of what Bitcoin, Cardano, Stella is doing. The guys from behind Cardano, the same. So if you compare this kind of behavior, this kind of defensiveness to what they have created, then Charles Hopkins, Dan Larimer, Craig Wright, they act the same way. They dismiss other technologies in a similar fashion. Now, nobody's like Craig, but like I said, my goal in this video was to focus not on the details, not on his repulsive or rude or anything, but if he was Satoshi, or if Satoshi would come back, what would he do? What would he go after? And I think Craig is doing the right things if he's Satoshi, or and if he's not Satoshi, then he has a really special personality, because yeah, it's if he's not the creator of Bitcoin and so on, then it's really weird, his obsession with how it should be and so on. But and another point that I started with is the endless resources. And we know that Craig Wright was an early miner like Satoshi, and he also has endless amount of resources, fortunately or unfortunately, because he whether it's starting a hash war, suing anybody on Twitter, or having giant mining operations, and like a patent operation, or anything, he just has the money for all of these things, and it doesn't seem like he's worried about running out of money anytime soon. So yeah, that was it. Thank you guys for listening. Have a nice day.